Sweet Paprika, the book I'm talking about today, it is absolutely in your fucking face the whole time. And I mentioned how when I read Crossed by Garth Ennis, and I'm blanking on the writers who took over after he did, but I've said how like reading that series, it gets really gross, and like I felt like at times like I don't want Lauren to see me reading this stuff. And
Well, I had to hide. I
yeah,
had to hide my book sometimes too.
yeah, and Sweet Paprika is right along, right in that realm, but for different, definitely for different reasons. So this is written and drawn by Mirka Andolfo, who we've talked about on the show more than once, and Mercy, I think, was the first Mirka Andolfo book talked about on here, which of course you did that a while back. I think it was the first one I read for a trade too.
Yeah.
And we should be getting more from the Mercy world at some point down the line. One would think. Colors are by Simon Tessuto, and letters by Fabio Amarella. This is an ongoing title over at Image. The first trade actually should be in stores by now. It's coming out this month. I know that. So it's the first 6 issues. The 7th issue has come out this month. Actually, just read that leading up to the show because I was a little behind on it. But just one issue, I guess. But anyways, the synopsis: Paprika is a successful businesswoman, a New Yorker of Italian origin, which might be trying to refer to Mirka Andolfo. I don't know where she lives, but she is Italian. Um, Job and career consume her, forcing her to neglect her personal needs as well as her friends and family. Her heart is broken from a previous relationship and its consequences, and a rigid upbringing has made her a very introverted person. She wants a romantic relationship, but she doesn't know what she's doing. There's a lot more of the synopsis. If you guys want to go check it out on Image's site or League of Comic Geeks or whatever, but I don't want to waste too much time on the synopsis itself because it goes into some of the things I want to dig into. So our main characters, we heard Paprika already. She is the CCO of Infernum Press. So it's chief creative officer. So she's basically like Axel Alonso for this fictitious world. So I could maybe if I call her Axel in the course of all this, I apologize for flipping. But then we have Dill, who is a delivery boy for Heaven's Express. And every woman at Infernum Press wants to sleep with this guy. Now, an important detail to note that I don't know if it was covered in the synopsis. This is a world of angels and devils. Period. Like it's like you either look like the like a better version of Stan Zanzibar in from Marjorie Finnegan, in crazy ass horns, or you look like an angel. In that doesn't mean they can't have I think interracial relationships and stuff like that. That happens, but it's your angel or a devil. Then there's also Bean, who's Dill's adorable dog. Paprika is a devil. Dill is an angel. Then we get Zataro, who is the executive producer at Purgatory Press. And he's in charge of the film adaptation of Infernum Press's hit series Spice It Up, which is written by a guy named Burnett, who is an angel. And and again, that book is really important. And we find out that there's a lot more to this character in terms of like the larger story in Paprika's life. Same goes for Dill, same goes for Zataro. Then we have Paprika's father, who is a total asshole. And honestly, when you were talking about what was the main Susie? We talk about Susie's mom, her being like calling Susie a slut and everything. Zataro's dad is like, it means Zataro. Paprika's dad is even worse. He is a devil. And then we have Anisette, who is an angel, and she is an employee at Infernum Press. Not as important. Like Paprika's dad and Anisette are kind of more tertiary characters, I would say. Burnett's kind of an important supporting character. Then it's really, and same with Bean. Well, Bean doesn't talk or anything. He's just a really, really adorable dog. But it's really Paprika, Dill, and Zataro who are kind of more at the center of things. But Anisette does kind of play a role in what's going on. She's one of those employees at Infernum Press that has slept with Dill. But as I said in the synopsis, Paprika is very, very successful when it comes to her work. I mean, there's a reason she's running this company. She was the one who brought forth Spice It Up. Now it's getting turned into a movie. It's made this company what it is today. But she is a shrewd businesswoman. She does not take crap from anybody. And like the first moment we see her in the work, I believe these are the first moments we see in the workplace. It's definitely in the first issue. She walks in on a meeting where they're talking about spice it up, and what they're certain things that they're trying to do, like marketing wise, just continue to increase sales and blah blah blah. There's this dude talking, and she walks in the room with a coffee, and this guy starts giving her the business. I think he's like a third party company guy because he doesn't realize who she is, and then she just fucking loses her shit on this guy. And what's so interesting about Mirka Andolfo's art in this series is like she loves to do like anime-esque type stuff, like where we would see like we see this one character, like the character who just did something stupid. He kind of looks the same as we saw him originally, but then Paprika will lose her shit, and then her like entire head will take up like the background of the panel, and you'll see this guy's like little, like he's like kind of sheepishly like, oh, what the fuck's happening right now? And her face is all kind of contorted in a weird way. So it's got that, like, how like with Pokemon, well, you're too old for Pokemon, I forget. No, but your kid likes Pokemon. You know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
familiar with
Yeah.
Pokemon.
So you know what I'm talking about with that kind of art styling, and it is anime manga sort of thing. So she kind of rotates between the two. But like the default art kind of has like the art that's behind me right now on the green screen for those watching, that is a variant cover. I couldn't find a cover that worked well for the green screen. But with her art, it kind of has like a 3D kind of like squeaky feeling to it, like squeaky clean feeling to it. But like obviously this book is very dirty, and that's partially also Simon Tessuto's color work on all this too. Outstanding pairing. But for everything that's going on in her work situation where she's doing really well, doesn't have friends, doesn't have a social life really at all. Her parents, are like her dad is a lot, and her dad definitely has real estate in her head whenever she's trying to do anything. And where her social life is an issue, what's killing her is like it's not just that it's like she doesn't have people to hang out with or a boyfriend or whatever. It's just she's a sexually frustrated individual, and that's what this series is all about. So where you're at like operating at an 8, this is definitely at a 10 in terms of the sexual stuff, because you're not getting that on every single page, maybe not even every other page, but when you get it,
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, it is friggin' nuts. And what's really funny too in this is like we get 2 sex scenes in the first issue of Sweet Paprika. The first one to me was like very like a standard kind of thing. Like you get people like 2 bodies kind of intertwined in a different way, whatever. But like you're not really seeing much. Then Paprika has this what is it, like a daydream moment or fantasy moment where she sees an individual and then just thinks like, oh, what if I just had meaningless sex with this person that's in front of me right now? And it goes from it's like having like the idea of having sex, like that's coming, and then it turns into like, whoa, like you want more than just sex, like you want to get weird, don't you? And it's not like, again, this is like comics, like we're not just hearing what she's saying, she's not just like talking about it. Like Mirka Andolfo draws what Sweet Paprika would like to see done to her, and it is a lot. And it's kind of like that throughout the series. It's just like you get these, here and there are other people who are doing their own thing, because Dill has like his dad is very sexually active. He's like his stepdad, but he's divorced. Dill is very active as well. But everything that happens with Paprika is definitely turned up to like an 11, because she's just someone who like her entire life, because like as a kid, like she was like thinking about like having kids, that kind of thing, like playing dolls and stuff. She's been so like sexually frustrated though, because she's just been told like you can't do these things, otherwise you're like that's wrong, like you're a whore, like you said, or whatever, like it's just wrong, can't have these impure thoughts. We find out too that there's quite a few people who are hypocrites throughout the course of this story.
Yeah.
But I'll kind of leave it at that. But there's look, there's business that's kind of at risk in all this too. Of course, it's an important part of the character of Paprika. Emotions, different people that she cares about, doesn't care about, and how they're kind of coming in and out of her life and kind of messing things up in this great plan that she's kind of developed that seems to be there for the taking for her, but she might shoot herself in the foot. She's trying to figure all this out, but mainly at like the crux of it, this is all about like a woman kind of trying to find her sexuality and being allowed to experiment and enjoy her things, and enjoy what goes on with sex. I'm not even thinking about some of the wording with some of this stuff. But it's like shit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a really fast, really easy read, and just like my one warning thing is like don't read it with kids around, because again, keep like wherever you put it, like make sure kids can't get to it. Like it's a lot, and look, you talk about how like your book feels like it's written by a woman. This one is, so it's just an interesting look into like what one woman maybe deals with on her own, because any story that we kind of see, like it's stuff that individuals usually care about. And when we get an image book too, these are going to be more personal because it's all 100% creator owned. So there's a reason Mirka Andolfo is writing this, and we've both talked about her enough and how awesome she is, but this is something, man.
Yeah, her art's always been very sexual. Like even in Mercy, right? It's a
Oh
horror
yeah.
book, and there was still some panels and just overall, and her covers too. She's done some tremendous cover art as well. But yeah, I just I wanted to read this when it came out, and you called dibs. So
Mm.
I'm glad you did, because I think these two books back to back are just an absolute tremendous way to get everyone goosed up,
Mhm.
for Valentine's Day. And yeah, fuck, man, good shit, good
Yeah.
shit.
And as far as like movie or TV, um, I I don't know. It's so early on in the process here. Something tells me that it would.
I would say TV. That would be my gut
I
because you
would.
could have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah. The thing too is like the devil angel kind of stuff. I think that would be kind of complicated if you're going to try like keeping that and making it look good too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess default I would kind of say TV, but
you can also make it an animated series too. You know.
yeah, well, if you made an animated series, it's gonna be fucking nuts. I think people would really like it if it was an animated series. Yeah, that would be my choice. If you can make it one thing, I would want it to be an animated TV series because it would be
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
But we talk about how this is like a Valentine's Day special, but also it's been 30 years for Image. They celebrated their 30th anniversary, like right around it was our February solicit.
Hmm.
And just looking at the books we talked about today in What's New, we talked about Radiant Black, we talked about The Scorched, King of Spies, all different books from one another. But definitely ones you could see kind of being under one like this the same publishing company. King of Spies maybe a little more separated than from the other two, but then you have these two books that are so different themselves
Yeah,
from those three, and it's just like that's one of the reasons why Image is just like we said we like there's just so much from Image to read. I know AWA is kind of doing that too, where they're getting a range of books. Dark Horse gets a range to some extent, but not to me quite as much as Image does. And it's just like there's a reason why we talk about their books so much, because they have so much different shit and so many different voices, so many different art styles. It's just like if you're gonna read from one publisher, it's Image, 100%.
I mean, we're not even a month and a half into 2022, and I'm already Image is already out, just about outpacing every other book I've read 2-1. Like the next, like it's Image at 50 something books, and Marvel's not even at 30 yet.
Yeah,
Right, like that's you know,
that's the way
yeah,
they're that good, and I don't keep the track of it like you do, but I'm sure I would be right in a similar range. And actually, I was at Barnes and Noble the other day, and trying to see things that maybe for the show. I picked up a Marvel book because I actually never read the Hellfire Gala, and I would like to go back and just
mm,
kind of see what went on with that. That's of course Marvel. And then I was like, okay, but I want to pick up a second one because they do deals and stuff. I picked up another Image book, Big Girls. I haven't read it, but it's like Image put it out. I'm interested.
yeah,
I'm going to give it a shot.
yeah,
I had seen it before and thought about picking it up, so it's like, why not? Let's
yeah.
and maybe it'll be a TLDR book. We'll see.